Hey everyone, it's Tara Bianca with Be Light Transformative Therapy, and today I want to talk a bit about mouth taping. I've been promising to make a video on this topic for a while, so I hope you're going to get a lot of value out of it. As always, if you enjoy my content, please help me to grow by subscribing to my channel, liking and sharing this video, and maybe even by leaving a comment. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of comments for this one because there's one group of you who has been mouth taping for a long time. You are the converted, you are the believers, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of strong opinions, strategies, and suggestions of your own, which I would love to hear, and I'm sure the entire community will benefit from hearing as well. Then there's the other group of you who are a bit skeptical, still kind of weirded out, and who are going to have a lot of questions. So please leave it all in the comments below. I'm super curious to hear where everyone is at on this topic. Also, really quickly, if you haven't already, please make sure you sign up for my totally free breath training called the Breath Basics 6-Day Challenge. I also recommend getting on the waitlist or registering for my 4-week breath bootcamp, which is a deep dive into functional breathing theory, physiology, and practical exercises. And also, if you've never checked out my 10K subscribers celebration page, I've got a bunch of free and discounted gifts and resources there for you as well. You can find all those links at the top of the video description, so make sure you check them out. As usual, I'm coming from an oxygen advantage bias when I speak about this topic, which means a strong bias for nasal breathing all day, as much as possible, but particularly during sleep. If you're breathing functionally all day, which includes nasal breathing, but then your mouth is hanging open all night, that's 7 to 9 hours of potentially disordered, dysfunctional breathing. Why is this noteworthy? Because when the mouth is hanging open, the tongue is almost certainly not anchored to the roof of the mouth, which means it's very likely falling into the airway. Imagine you have this muscle, or this collection of muscles called a tongue, that becomes like a giant piece of meat that falls into the airway, either partially or completely occluding air from entering the body. And imagine this happening tens or even hundreds of times throughout the night. Yikes, that sounds like a nightmare, no? No air means no oxygen for like 7 to 9 hours. And as you can imagine, that's not good. Mouth breathing during sleep is associated with a higher incidence of snoring, obstructive sleep apnea, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers. Also, if your sleep is constantly being disrupted, you're never getting into deep sleep, which is critical for regeneration, recovery, growth, and learning. Your nervous system gets stuck in a chronic low-grade stress response, aka a fight or flight response. You become more anxious, more defensive, emotionally irritable, and exhausted all the time. You feel pain more easily and may develop more chronic aches and inflammation. You'll be more likely to make mistakes, struggle to learn, and have a higher chance of injury. And you may also put on weight and your immune system can weaken. Mouth breathing for so many hours each day also makes you more prone to infection, to a dysbiosis in your oral microbiome, to cavities, gingivitis, periodontitis, and bad breath. And then that unconditioned air coming into your mouth causes trauma to the upper airways, causing them to constrict and limit airflow further. So imagine, the very act of mouth breathing causes a constriction of the airways, and then this piece of meat, your tongue, proceeds to block that constricted airway. It's a recipe for suffocation. Does that sound like a good night's sleep to you? Mouth tape is a simple tool that encourages the lips to stay closed so that you can reclaim full use of your nose and improve some amount of dysfunctional breathing that may be contributing to some of the negative symptoms that you're experiencing in your health. And I get it, by the way. You're unconscious. How would you know if you're breathing through your mouth or not? Well, you could record yourself, either as a video or even just the audio. If you really suspect sleep-disordered breathing, you could get a sleep study done if you have that option available to you. But something you can start doing immediately is to pay attention to the signs. Mouth tape is designed for those of us who are chronically mouth breathing at night. If your mouth is hanging open during sleep, I want you to start to consider all the ways that your quality of life will improve if you can get your mouth closed. In the Oxygen Advantage, we actually consider mouth taping essential for anyone sleeping with their mouth open. So what are some of the obvious signs to look for? Number 1, do you wake up with an open mouth? If your mouth is open upon waking, there's a pretty good chance it was open the entire night. Number 2, do you wake up with a dry mouth? This one is so simple and obvious, but it's actually a really good indicator. If your mouth is hanging open all night, you're going to lose moisture. Number 3, do you wake up with sinus congestion? This one is not an absolute, but it's pretty meaningful. If you wake up and both nostrils are totally clogged, there's a huge chance that you diverted to mouth breathing during the night. Number 4, do you wake up feeling completely unrefreshed? Sleep hygiene is complex and multifactorial, so there could be a number of reasons preventing you from getting deep, restful sleep. Mouth breathing is definitely one of them, even though it's not the only one. And then number 5, do you get up during the night to use the bathroom? Again, there could be a number of factors impacting this one, but it seems that one reason could be that when you don't sleep long enough or you don't sleep deeply enough, vasopressin, aka anti-diuretic hormone, that's the main guy regulating your body fluids, doesn't get released. And so, what might be a reason preventing you from sleeping long enough or deeply enough? Well, mouth breathing, snoring, and obstructive sleep apnea are all very strong candidates. Besides these 5 signs, there are also some general conditions that might warrant a deeper look into how you are breathing during sleep. Number 1, are you extremely stressed all the time? Number 2, do you suffer with anxiety or panic disorder? Number 3, do you suffer with chronic pain? Number 4, do you regularly get injured? Number 5, do you have a learning disability? Or number 6, do you have a mood disorder? Your breathing and your sleep are closely intertwined, so if one is dysfunctional, it's quite likely that they both will be dysfunctional. And these 2 things dramatically affect the quality of your life in countless, sometimes unanticipated ways. So if anything I told you got your attention and makes you a little bit more interested in this idea of taping your mouth during sleep, you've got to know how to do it. Today, I have 2 different tapes that I'd like to demonstrate for you. I'll also drop some links for other varieties as well in the video description. I just don't have those here to show you. The first tape that I want to show you is this NextCare Durapore cloth tape. It comes in a roll. It's super affordable and it lasts a really long time. I'm also going to include some other links in the video description for tapes that are similar to this one. So how do we apply it? I'll give you first the 2 most obvious choices and then we'll have to address the elephant in the room. So one way is to take a small postage-size piece and apply it vertically to the lips. The second way is to take a longer piece and apply it horizontally. Okay, so now the big question, what if you have a ton of facial hair or a jaw that simply will not stay closed? One option is to take that longer horizontal piece and really get it between the lips, like this. Or you could try making an X across the lips. You could make a small X by cutting that long horizontal piece that we just had into 2 thinner strips, like this. Or you could make a big X that reaches to the skin beyond the beard. I'm not going to use up all my tape trying to demonstrate that, but the idea would be that you would attach it to the upper cheek above the beard hair and make the X across, trying to attach it somewhere under the chin, and then the same on the other side. Most people are not going to need to strap their jaw shut in that way, but I wanted to offer it as an option for the most severe of cases. The second tape that I want to show you is called Myo tape. This is an elastic tape, very similar to kinesio tape or rock tape. And what's so nice about this tape is that it goes around the lips as opposed to going over the lips. Of course, if you have thick beard hair, this is not going to be your best option. So I know it looks super weird, but the nice thing about this tape is that even with the tape on, if I really needed to or wanted to open my mouth, I could do it. And so for a lot of people, that feels less scary. Some of you might be watching this demonstration absolutely horrified. And that's okay. It can be a really weird thing to consider taping your lips closed at night. So for anyone who feels like they might really benefit from the tape, but you're having major tape anxiety, I want to give you a few recommendations. Number 1, try the Myo tape. For most people with anxiety, this tape feels a little safer and a little less constrictive. And as I just showed you, even with the tape on, you can easily open your mouth if you need to without any problem. Number 2, wear the tape during waking hours before you try wearing it during sleep. So while you're working at your computer or washing the dishes or vacuuming the house, try wearing the tape then in order to start to acclimate to the feeling of it. I would suggest trying to wear the tape for 5, 10, or 20 minutes in order to start to adjust to the feeling. And then number 3, be patient with the process. The first time you wear the tape to bed, you might rip it off immediately. And that's okay. Let it go and try again the next night. And then the next night, you might rip it off halfway through the night. Okay, that's progress. I would give yourself a good 2 to 3 weeks of consistently wearing the tape before you make a final assessment of if it's right for you or not. I hope this video was helpful for illuminating any mystery remaining around mouth taping. I hope you got some of the answers you were looking for and that you feel encouraged to give it a try. Please drop any questions, concerns, or suggestions down in the comments below. If you're already using mouth tape successfully and you're getting some benefit from it, please tell me about your experience in the comments as well. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, please check out my totally free Breath Basics 6-Day Challenge and also my deep dive into functional breathing called the 4-Week Breath Bootcamp. And if you'd like to donate to my channel, please check out my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.